Testing, testing one. Test. Test one, test one.
You don't have to get close to it.
Okay.
Yeah? So if you stand right here, it's,
still fine.
yeah, it'll
Oh,
pick you
okay,
up.
okay.
Yep, and the best thing is if people are different heights, then just move it.
Yeah,
But you don't
got
have
it,
to
yeah.
get close. But if you do talk into it, it will, it makes the sound larval. So
Okay, okay.
we're ready? Okay. It is gonna be an explosion. There's, yeah, a lot of people. Okay. Am I going to direct people to? You want me to? No, I'm happy to do it. But is my instruction to come in, shut up, sit down? Kind of? Because we don't want them to come up at this point and talk to dad, right? So it's please come in, have a seat, be quiet for the.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Hello. Ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. Just a small announcement before we get started. If you have space in your aisles, we have a large crowd. Would request for folks, if you do have space, to kind of make some space for anybody who's standing. Thank you. Raise your hand if you have some space. We have a couple more spaces left. Anybody who wants to get a seat, please raise your hand if you have some space. We'd really appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today as we gather to honor and celebrate the life of Arundathi Wijetilleke, beloved wife, mother, grandmother, and friend. My name is Viranga Vijayaratne. I'm Asoka's nephew. I call Arundathi Lokunanda, which means older aunt. Not by age, that's just the terminology that we use. Honestly, I was struggling to find the equivalent translation, but I couldn't, so bear with me. However, I will refrain from using the term Lokunanda to avoid any confusion for those who are here. I'm honored the family had asked me to officiate today. Those who know me know that I'm very comfortable standing behind a podium. But to be honest, this is the first time I'm officiating in this setting. So I do apologize for any shortcomings that I may have during the course of today. We are here not only to mourn her passing, but to reflect on the grace and beauty which Arundathi lived. A devout Buddhist, she embraced the impermanence of life, the importance of compassion, mindfulness, and peace. These values not only her beliefs, they were woven into everything she did. Arundathi was born and raised in Sri Lanka, but called the United States home for over a century, and Vero Beach home or good part of it. She was an artist, not just with a brush or in floral arrangement, but in how she approached conversations, relationships, and life itself. Every painting, every carefully placed flower, every meaningful exchange she shared was an expression of her care and attention to the present moment. She leaves behind a loving husband, Asoka, 2 sons, Chaminda and Dimutu, daughter Aruni, and 2 cherished grandsons, Ashan and Atri, and her sister Indi, which of whom carries a part of her spirit forward. While we understand, especially in Buddhist tradition, all things are impermanent, that life is a series of changing moments, it does not lessen the sorrow we feel in this one. The untimely passing of Arundathi is a tender and profound loss. It is natural to feel sadness, to mourn her absence, and to wish for one more conversation, one more smile, one more moment in her gentle presence. Grief is not a weakness. It's a reflection of our love and the space she held in our lives. Each of us carries different memories of her. A quiet moment of connection, a burst of laughter, a thoughtful gift, a gesture of kindness. In a way, each of us feels her loss personally, but we are not alone in that grief. We are united, and in that unity, we can find strength. To her beloved husband, her sons and daughter, to her cherished grandsons, this loss is deepest for you. Your bond with her cannot be replaced. But even in the midst of sorrow, you may feel the presence of those gathered around you, holding you with compassion and care. And you may find comfort in knowing that the love she gave continues through you, in your words, your actions, your memories, and your hearts. Today we grieve, but we also honor. We reflect, we remember, and we carry forward the beauty she brought into our lives. First, we will be conducting a Buddhist religious ceremony. This will be about 45 minutes, so please bear with us. I would like to reflect on a quote from the Dhammapada. Dhammapada is a collection of sayings by Lord Gautama Buddha, who's the founder of Buddhism. The fragrance of virtue spreads in all directions, and does the merit of a good life well lived. At this time, we invite your attention and presence as we prepare for the Buddhist ceremony led by the venerable monks from the Tampa Buddhist Vihara, of which both Arundathi and Asoka are very active patrons. In accordance with tradition, this sacred observation is a way of us to honor Arundhathi's life, to transfer merit to her in her journey beyond this life, and to cultivate peace in our own hearts through chanting, blessing, and mindful silence. We participate in an ancient expression of love, gratitude, and letting go. We thank the venerable monks for their presence today and invite them to begin the ceremony.
Good morning to everyone. Dear Venerable Sir, the Abbot of Florida Buddhist Vihara, dear family members, friends and all gathered here from different faiths. It's time to conduct our religious service in view of transferring collected merits to Mrs. Arundathi Wijetilleke, who has already passed away. So the first event with regard to our service is going for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Then we are going to observe 5 precepts. So in order to go for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, I would like to request you to stand up and say 3 times Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyaṃ pi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyaṃ pi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyaṃ pi Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyaṃ pi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyaṃ pi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyaṃ pi Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Pānātipātā vēramaṇī sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Adinādānā vēramaṇī sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Kāmesu miccācārā vēramaṇī sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Musāvādā vēramaṇī sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Surāmeraya majjapamā daṭṭhānā vēramaṇī sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Okay, thank you so much. Please be seated. Okay, dear friends, we have already observed 5 precepts and we went for refuge to the triple gem. According to Buddha's teaching, going for refuge to the triple gem and observing 5 precepts. The meaning of 5 precepts I would like to explain. First is refraining from killing living beings. Second one is refraining from stealing. Third one is refraining from sensual or sexual misconduct. Third one is refraining from telling lies. The fifth one is refraining from taking intoxicant liquors and drugs. By observing 5 precepts, we become more spiritual to start any kind of spiritual activity with regard to Buddhist tradition. So that's why you could purify your mind by observing 5 precepts. So now we are totally purified people as you have observed 5 precepts. So now your mind is totally mindful in terms of conducting any kind of spiritual activity. So you are now in a very, very powerful status. Today you all gathered here, we all gathered here to pay our last respects to Mrs. Arundathi Wijetilleke, who was the wife of Mr. Asoka Wijetilleke, and the beloved mother of 3 children, namely Mr. Chaminda, Mrs. Aruni, and Mr. Dimuthu. They are the 3 children of Mrs. Arundathi. Mrs. Arundathi was very, very wonderful lady, because I can still remember that. One time she came to the temple and she mentioned us how she got her name Arundathi. She was proudly saying that my name was given by a very, very scholar and prolific monk who was a teacher of Wijetilleke Pirivena, most venerable Bambarande Sirisivalitero. That monk was the one who gave the name Arundathi. And she mentioned that she was expert in Sanskrit language, which is related to the Buddhist traditions and Indian knowledge system. So she was proudly saying, I could learn Sanskrit from Wijetilleke Pirivena. So my name was also given by a venerable Sir Bambarande Sirisivalitero. Therefore she was very devoted, very close Dhamma friends and Dhamma practitioner. So as Buddhist monks, we remember her name and we respect her attitudes in terms of respecting monks and the Buddhist tradition. However, today I would like to explain something taught by our Supreme Buddha. In the Dhamma, one time the Supreme Buddha reminds us, all conditioned things are impermanent. In Pali language, it is said that sabbe sankara anicca. All conditioned things are impermanent. All formations are impermanent. Their nature is to rise and pass away. Understanding this, one finds true peace. So, as a great lady, she could practice Buddha's teaching, and we believe that she had enough understanding of life. So this is a very common and very natural thing that we all have to pass away one day, sooner or later. So this time is the time to practice the mindfulness of death, or the awareness of death, which is called Marananusati Bhavana in Buddhist tradition. This is the moment to practice the mindfulness of death. As Mrs. Arundathi passed away, we all also have to pass away one day. So that is the lesson we have to understand by participating in this event. So this is a very great moment to reflect on the nature and reality of our lives. So nobody in this world is going to be permanent. So if someone knows how to become permanent, then I would like to ask them. So this time we have already observed 5 precepts. Now next it is time to offer the Mataka Vastra, or the memorable cloth, to the community of Mahasangha. So I would like to request all the family members, please come over and get ready to offer the white cloth to the Mahasangha. everybody can touch it. Yeah. Come on. Okay. නෑ අර කලර ඔක්කොටම අල්ලන්න දුන්නා නම් හරි. නෑ මෙතනම ඉන්නවා. මේක දිග ඇරලා දුන්නා නම් හරි. නෑ අර ක්ලොත් එක කට්ටියටම දෙන්න. අතේ තියෙන එක. Okay, now we are going to practice the generosity, which is highly appreciated by the Supreme Buddha, giving up your belongings. That generates a lot of merits. So practicing generosity is highly appreciated in Buddhist tradition. Now we are going to offer your own belongings, which is called the white cloth, in memory of transferring merits to late wonderful lady, Mrs. Arundathi Wijetilleke. So to offer the clothes to the Mahasangha, please recite these phrases after me. Imang bhikkang imang mataka vattang bhikkhu sanghassa dema imang mataka vattang bhikkhu sanghassa dema imang mataka vattang bhikkhu sanghassa dema. Okay, now you can offer it to Mahasangha. Okay, now it's time to practice the mindfulness of death recommended by the Supreme Buddha. We all can be concerned that all formations or all conditions things are impermanent. Their nature is to arise and pass away. Understanding this, one can find true happiness or true peace. Please be concerned on specific chanting recommended by the Supreme Buddha and which mentions the reality of our life. So be concerned of to understand the reality of your own lives too. As Mrs. Arundathi has already passed away, we all also have to pass away someday, sooner or later. Please be concerned on this specific chanting. නිච්ඡාවත සංකාරා උපාද වය ධම්මිනෝ uppajjitva nirucchanti tesang upasamo sukho vata sankhara uppada vaya dhammino uppajjitva nirucchanti tesang upasamo sukho anicca sankhara uppada vaya dhammino jitva nirucchanti tesang upasamo sukho. You can sit there. Thank you. Okay, now as a Buddhist monk, I would like to give a very short Dhamma talk, which is about the reality of the life. One time in Buddha's time, there was a king. His name was King Munda. He had a very, very beautiful and very beloved wife. Her name was Bhadda. King Munda was very, very kind to her wife, the Queen Bhadda. However, suddenly, King's wife had to pass away. So the king was highly confused. King couldn't cope the situations. So king was highly confused and king was saying her ministers, dear ministers, I am totally confused because my beloved wife has passed away. So I am going to keep my wife's dead body forever with me. I don't like to bury or take into a funeral home. I'm going to keep her body for permanently with me. So the ministers, they have a very wise, wonderful, wise minister. He understood that the king was highly confused because of the passing away of her wife. So I should help him to abandon or diminish the sorrow. So that wise minister went to a Buddhist monk and mentioned all the situation of the king. Dear monk, the king is highly confused because of the passing away of her wife, Queen Bhadda. So please help him because he is going to keep her dead body forever. Without understanding, she was highly deluded by her loss. So please help him to get rid of all the sorrows. So what happened then? The monk came to the palace of the king and asked, dear king, are you confused about the passing away of your wife? So are you going to keep your wife dead body forever? Then king replied, yes, venerable sir, I am going to keep my wife's dead body forever with me. I don't like to bury her dead body. I should keep, because I was highly attached to her. So the venerable monk understood that the king was deluded by by the attachment, so I should help him. Then monk delivered the Buddha's teaching. He delivered 5 things to understand the impermanence and the reality of the life. First he mentioned, the first fact he mentioned was, dear king, if somebody thinks that may what is subject to old age, not grow old age, that is a delusion. If someone thinks may what is subject to illness not fall ill, that is also a delusion. If someone thinks that may what is subject to death not die, that is also a delusion. In addition to that, if someone thinks that may what is subject to destruction not be destructed, that is also a delusion. Finally, he mentioned the 5th fact, dear king, if someone thinks that may what is subject to loss not be lost, that is also a delusion. So, understand the reality of the life. Nobody is exempt from death, old age, illness, destruction, and loss. So, please generate the equanimity or the evenness in this situation and understand the reality of your life. That will highly helpful you to generate the mindfulness of death, awareness of death. Then you will be able to control or cope your sorrow. Then what happened? The king followed the advice given by the monk. Then he could highly satisfied and he decided to please take my wife's dead body to the cemetery and bury her body. So understanding in the reality of the life has been explained by the Buddha in different ways. Again, the Supreme Buddha has mentioned there are 5 themes to be remembered, to be often remembered by living people. First one is, everybody should think that I am subject to old age. I am not exempt from old age. That should be remembered every day. That should be reminded every day by every people. Second one is, the other thing is that what happens if someone thinks that I am not exempt from old age, then the intoxication with regard to the health gradually abandons. To abandon the, because of the intoxication with the good health, people are conducting, people are engaging in misconduct by speech, by mind as well as by body. So if we think every day that we are subject to old age, we are not exempt from old age, then the intoxication with regard to health gradually diminishes, gradually abandons. This is the first advice given by the Buddha to control, to develop the mindfulness of death. Second fact is, everybody who is living in this world should remind every day that I am subject to illness. I am subject to illness. I am not exempt from illness. Third one is, everybody should remember and reminds every day that I am subject to destruction or the death. I am not exempt from the death. Then what happened? If we are thinking that we are dying, that is not a negative thing. Maybe someone thinks that it is thinking about the negativity, not at all. That is about the reality. If we understand the reality, we can cope our general life very well. Very balanced life can be conducted. Then the other important thing is that if we are thinking that we are dying, we are subject to death, then we try to manage, we cope our bodily, physical, and mental actions without harming others as well as himself or herself. The fourth factor, which is mentioned by the Supreme Buddha to remember every day or often in our life, is that we should think that all the things I loved, I am loving, and I am attached to, they are going to be vanish one day. Therefore, that is the impermanence. The fifth one is everybody who are living in this world should think every day that I am the owner of my karma. I am the heir of my karma. So I should engage in good conduct by avoiding misconduct. Then we can lead a very, very wonderful and meaningful life in this lifespan. So today is very, very special day to remind that everybody is dying in the world, same like Mrs. Arundathi Wijetilleke. She was, this is the universality of death. This is one time Supreme Buddha told that the universality of death is like this. The death is not only relevant to the people who are living in the cities or big towns. Death is not only relevant to the people who are living in countrysides. Death is not only relevant to a specific family. Death is a common thing. Death is a universal. So therefore, thinking about the universality of the death, we can cope the situation and we can develop the equanimity with regard to any kind of hard times. So taking into account the time, I am not going to extend my Dhamma talk. Now it's time to transfer in merits to Mrs. Arundathi Wijetilleke. Now we are going to pour the water into the empty cup. Therefore, please, family members, come here. Let's transfer all the collected merits to late Arundathi Wijetilleke. Okay, now we are going to transfer all the collected merits. We were able to collect merit by practicing mindfulness of death. We were able to think about the nature of the life. We were practicing generosity by offering the clothes to Mahasangha. We were able to observe in five precepts. Therefore, we were able to collect lot of merit throughout this time. So now it's time to transfer all the collected merits so that Mrs. Arundathi Wijetilleke find peace, and may all the collected merits be with her like a shadow never leaves us. So thinking that way, please pour the water, reciting the specific gatha, idam me nyati nang hotu. Vapura paripurenti sagarang eva me vaito dinnang petanang upakappati Iccitam pattitantu eyang sabbameva samijjatu purentu citta sankappa manijoti rasoyata iccitam pattitantu eyang kippameva sabbe purentu citta sankappa cando panna rasoyata. Yeah, now I would like to mention that our High Priest, Venerable Bhante Kokkaviti Upulasaranayaka Tero, the Abbot of Kande Vihara Pirivena, he mentioned that to pass her sincere kindness and the sympathy to the family members. And now our Venerable Bhante, the Abbot of Florida Buddhist Vihara, is going to give a short talk to you. Now it's time. Please listen to him. Thank you so much.
Stay here. Dear Venerable, Mr. Wijetilleke family members, relatives and friends, and all other participants. Good morning to everyone. You all are here gathered here today because you wanted to give a final salutation for Mrs. Arundathi Wijetilleke. We also very sorrowful moment at the moment because of, as our Bhante mentioned, as you all know, she was a very good devotee for our temple, as well as good friend of ours. When I say that, you can confuse because, as you everyone know, Mr. Wijetilleke and Arundathi Wijetilleke, both of them, they understood their own life. They understood everything their own, each other. When someone supposed to have a marriage life, of course, they have to have understand each other. Otherwise, they do not have life in this world. When they are at the temple, almost every time, we saw that they each other talking joke, and also the other people when they get come to talk to them, they joking, as well as they did good job at the temple. I just want to let you all the people know here, according to our great teacher, Most Venerable Kokkavita Vipulasara Thero, who brought up the Kande Vihara temple in Sri Lanka. I knew them almost 15 years, but Most Venerable Kokkavita Vipulasara Thero, he knows more than that. Then we do have some experiences about her life, very short, but still good. Just I want to let you know about the great teaching of the Buddha in this situation. Actually, I thought I want to give a Sinhalese some words for our people, but still I have to say something in English too. What the Buddha taught, Anabbito tato aga nanunyato ito gato yathagato tathagato tattaka paridevana. Maybe it is very hard for you to understand what I said, but that's the Buddha's language. We call as a Pali terms. I'm going to explain word by word to understand for other people. Anabbito tato aga. if I ask from all of you, if someone invite you to be here in this world, your answer going to be a no. As well as, if I ask from you, if someone order to go out from this world, your answer will be no. That's the great teaching of the Buddha. Anabbito tato aga. No one invite us to be here in this world. As well as nanu nyato ito gato. No one order to us go back from this world. Then exactly no one here don't know where we come from. As well as we do not know exactly where we'll be in future. That's the thing you should understand. Then what we should do here in this world within our lifetime. As Bhante mentioned, we have a great opportunity here in this world as a human being. We have to do the good thing, ignore the bad. You know, not only Buddha, but also the other religious leaders, they also like to, if we are doing good thing, ignore the bad. Therefore, we do have very short time of our life. What we should do, what we should not to do. Then you are the one who understand what I am doing, what I am not doing. And also you have to think, whatever it is you are doing in this world within your lifetime, that's the only thing that you are carrying. Which means another idea then you can get, you are the one who create your own life. Whatever it is you have done, then you have to take it. You cannot ignore that. Therefore, Mrs. Arundathi Wijetilleke give us very good example. Then in front of you, you can see the coffin. One day, sooner or later, you also laying down this way, exact this way. So, before that, we do have to do so many things as a good, ignoring bad. Then you can have a good life. And also, we cannot ignore the death, right? There's another saying, Buddha, na antarikke na samudda majje na pabbatanan vivarang pavissa na vijjati so jagati padeso yattattito muncheyya marana dhamma. If someone think I don't want to death, I want to ignore that. I want to forever life. It's not true. If we go to the sky, if we go to the ocean, if we go to the mountain or canyon, still we cannot ignore the death. Definitely it comes to us. That's the thing you have to understand. Therefore today, we already have done our service and also transfer merit for her to be happy. Then you can be happy. The other thing I want to let you know, if we are participating in Sri Lankan funeral, something like that, there's so many people crying. Even we do not have enough room to stay. That's the big difference here. You are all are laughing because educated people, you know what the death mean, right? Then you are thinking about that, and also Bhante give advice according to the great teaching of the Buddha. So you be happy. She has done so many things for the temple and also the society. Everything, whatever it is she has done within her lifetime, everything took her by herself for next life. හොඳයි අපේ දායක පින්නතුනේ මට අපේ අරුන්දති නෝනාගේ අභාවය අපිට දැනගන්න ලැබිච්ච මොහොතේම අපි තාම කනගාටුවටපත් වුණා. ඒක හිටි ගමන් වෙච්ච දෙයක් නිසා. උගක් කෙනෙක් ලෙඩ වෙලා මාසයක් දෙකක් අවුරුද්දක් දෙකක් තුනක් 10ක් 15ක් කොහොම ඉඳලා තමයි මරණයටපත් වන්නේ. ඉතින් අපේ අශෝක මහත්මයාත් ඒ දුක කොහොම හරි විඳ දරාගත්තා. මොකද මේ දුක කියන එක පිළිබඳව අපි මුලින් දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕන. මරණය සිද්ධ වෙනවයි කියන එක අපි දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕන. මරණ ධම්මෝම්හි අබින්හම් පච්ච වේකිතබ්බා. අපි නිරන්තරයෙන්ම අපි මැරෙනවා කියලා සිහිපත් කරන්න ඕන. ඒක අප්ඩේට් කරන්න ඕන. එහෙම නොහිතනකොට එක පාට ශනිකව මේ වගේ දෙයක් වුණායින් පස්සේ අපිට ඒක දරා ගන්න බැරි වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ කොහොම නමුත් අපේ නෝනා පන්සලට ආපුවම අපිත් එක්ක බොහොම හිනහ වෙලා කතා බහ කරනවා. අම්මා කෙනෙක් වගේ කතා කරනවා. දායකයෙක් විදිහට කතා කරනවා. යාළුවෙක් විදිහට කතා කරනවා. සමහරක් වෙලාවට මේ ටෙලිෆෝන් කෝල් දීලා මහත්තයා වැඩ කරන අතරේ අපෙන් ප්‍රශ්නත් අහනවා. ධර්මයේ සම්බන්ධ ඇති වෙච්ච ගැටලු අරම මේ අපි ඒවට උත්තරත් දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ ආගමික කරපු වෙලාවකුත් තියෙනවා. ඒ තමයි I wanted to say that in English because almost our Arundathi Nonas and Wijetilleke families friends are here. Very firstly, Mr. Gentleman he explained that she was a artist, right? So when you go to the Florida Buddhist Vihara, then you can see the behind the Buddha one paint that she has done. Helper is Dimutu, according to Lokuhandro. So one day I asked Mr. Wijetilleke families, I want to renovate the Buddha hall. I'm going to remove that paint. And then she gets little upset and also argue with me. And then I want to explain things talking about that paint. If someone here follow the Tibetan Buddhism, they know when they have the festival, they make a circle things by colors, sand. It's called mandala. Finally, what they are doing after they done the chanting, they almost destroyed that. And then they explain thing about the anicca, impermanency. I already give advice, explain things for the both of them, Mr. Wijetilleke and Arunona. Still they didn't get it. Still they argue with me, no, Bante, I have to keep it. I didn't never change it, and I told the Lokuhamduru to still be keeping it. But now you can understand what's the impermanency. We cannot keep whatever it is there forever, right? Just think about it. ඉතින් ඕක අපි ආගියු කර කර හිටියට නෝනට ඒක තේරුම් කරලා දෙන්නම බැරි වුණා. කමක් නැහැ. අපි මහත්මයාත් විශේෂයෙන් මතක් කරන්න ඕන චමින්ද මහත්මයා, ඒ වගේම ආරුණී මහත්මිය වගේම දිමුතු මහත්මයා අතර මේ ගෙදර කට්ටිය ඔක්කොම මේ යාළුවෝ වගේ තමයි ආශ්‍රය කරන්නේ. ඒක අපි දැකපු සුවිශේෂී කාරණාවක්. ඉතින් ඒක අපිටත් හරි ආඩම්බරයක් අපේ පවුලක් මේ විදිහට බොහොම සහයෝගයෙන් එකිනෙකා දැන හඳුනාගෙන ජීවත් වීම සම්බන්ධයෙන්. ඉතින් ඒක අම්මයි තාත්තයි දෙන්න මේ දරුවන්ට දීපු ලොකු දායාදයක්. අපේ සමහර ෆැමිලිස් දිහා බැලුවන් පස්සේ නේද? ඉතින් අපි සතුටටපත් වෙනවා අපේ විශේෂයෙන් අපේ අතිගෞරවනීය කන්දේ විහාරාධිපති කොක්කාවිට විපුලසාරාභිධාන බෙන්තර වලල්ලාවිට දෙකෝරළේ ප්‍රධාන සංඝනායක මහින්පාණන් වහන්සේගේ සංවේගය අපේ අශෝක මහත්මයා ඇතුළු පවුලේ දූ දරුවන් වෙත පිරිනමන්නට කැමැති. ඒ වගේම අපේ සංවේගයත් ඒ වගේම විහාරස්ථානය ආරම්භ කරන්නට යෙදුනේ 1997 වසරේදී ලොකු හාමුදුරුවෝ ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නට කිව්ව විශේෂයෙන් ඒ අවස්ථාවේ හිටි පවුල් වලින් කීපයක් අතරින් එක ප්‍රධාන පවුලක් තමයි අපේ විජේතිලක පවුල. ඉතින් මේ මහත්මයා ඒ වගේ නෝන මහත්මිය ඒ පන්සල ආරම්භ කරන්නට යෙදිච්ච දවසේ ඉඳලා අද දක්වාම විහාරස්ථානයේ නඩත්තු කටයුතු සඳහා ආධාරෝපකාර කරනවා. ඒ වගේම ලොකු මහත් පින්කම් සිද්ධ වෙනකොට වෙසක් උත්සවයේ කටින උත්සවයේ විශේෂයෙන් ඒ ඇත්තන්ගේ දෙමාපියන් සිහිපත් කරලා පිරිකර පූජාවල් කරනවා, වෙනත් ආධාරෝපකාර කරනවා. වෙනත් විශේෂ අවස්ථාවන් වලදීත් එයාගේ උදව් උපකාර අපට තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේවා අපි සිහිපත් කරන්නේ Taman කරපු දේවල් නැවත නැවත සිහිපත් කිරීම සහ ඒවා අපිට අනුමෝදන් කරන්න පුළුවන් ඒ මහත්මියට. ඉතින් ඒ අනුමෝදන් කිරීම තුළින් අපිට පුළුවන් ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන්න හොඳ යහපත් තැනක්. ඉතින් අපි මේ මොහොතේදී කාල වේලාව අරගෙන මේ පින්වත් හැම කෙනෙක් මේ අවස්ථාවට සම්බන්ධ වෙලා ධර්ම ශ්‍රවණය කරන්නට යෙදුණා. ඒ වගේම පංචශීලය සමාදන් වෙන්න යෙදුණා. අනිත්‍ය ප්‍රතිසංයුක්ත ගාථාවකට ඇහුම්කන් දුන්නා. ඒ වගේම මතක වස්ත්‍රය පූජා කළා. මේ විදිහට අපි ත්‍රි හේතුක කුසලයක් අත්පත් කරගත්තා. ඒවා තමයි දාන, සීල, භාවනා. මේ ලබාගත් ත්‍රි හේතුක කුසලය අපි ඒ අභාව ප්‍රාප්ත වන්ට යෙදිච්ච අරුන්දති විජේතිලක මාතාවට මැතිණියට මහත්මියට අපි අනුමෝදන් කරමු. දුකින් මිදෙත්වා උතුම් වූ නිවනින් සැනසීම ලබත්වා කියලා සාදු කියලා පින් දෙමු. හොඳයි, සියලු දෙනාට තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
Thank you to the Venerable monks for offering such a serene and meaningful ceremony. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. In the rhythm of the chanting and the stillness that followed, we were given a space to reflect not only on Arundhathi's passing, but on the beauty of her life and the values she held. We are reminded that while the physical form changes and fades, the love, kindness, and wisdom a person shares continues to ripple outward. We will now celebrate the life of Arundathi by her friends and family. I quote, "In the company of good friends, even the hardest paths feel lighter. A friend sees us not only in our brightest moments, but walks with us through the quiet, unspoken spaces in life." Arundathi shared with Heidi Rose a connection built on trust, conversation, and care. We now invite her to share a few words and memories.
Arun, a woman of natural elegance, intelligence, and immeasurable creativity. I honestly cannot remember a time when I saw her that she was not smiling. Even if she had worries on her mind, she smiled that beautiful, big smile. And although you might think at first that Arun was reserved, she had an easy openness, and in her lilting voice, she surely loved to chat. We were longtime neighbors, and even in the last few years after she and Dr. Ouija moved away from the neighborhood, she would always ask me how her house was doing. She still took so much pride in the home where she and Dr. Ouija built their lives and their family. Arun was proud of who she was, proud of her heritage, proud of being a woman, a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and deeply proud of her artistry. We all know how she expressed that passion for art through her very dedicated involvement with the Garden Club. Think about all the ornaments she created, her participation in Art in Bloom every single year. She truly had a gift for shaping space, balancing color and form with her artist's eye. One of the recent times I was just with her a few weeks ago, she told me about a garden club presentation she'd just done, one that had celebrated her beloved Sri Lanka. She shared with me that she'd won an award for Best Use of Color. Her original vision for that display included frangipani, which she told me holds cultural significance. But at the time, the plants were just beginning to bloom. It was a little early. She asked me if her pink frangipani in her yard was still blooming. And I want to tell you that it is. And I offered to ask the new neighbor if we could clip some. But true to her creative spirit, she reworked her ideas and she created a beautiful display that won, not just because it was lovely, but because it carried her heart. Arun's legacy stretches to so many. It lives on in the students she inspired, the young patients she distracted with her beautiful murals in your office, Dr. Ouija, and the many lives she touched simply by being herself, passionate, proud, artistic, and kind. I hope we can all carry her spirit with us in every blooming flower, in every burst of color that reminds us of her vibrant and truly elegant presence. I am lucky to have known her and called her a friend. May her good karma guide her on her journey. Arun, you are truly beautiful in every way.
Thank you very much, Heidi. I quote, "Those who plant gardens plant hope, not just in soil, but in the hearts of others." Beyond her family and close friends, Arundathi also found great joy, friendship, and purpose in a time with the Garden Club. Among flowers and foliage, she nurtured not only beauty, but relationships rooted in care, creativity, and shared love of the natural world. We are honored to welcome two members of the Garden Club who have come to share their memories and reflections of what Arundathi brought to their community. I invite Mrs. Estes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Faye D. Estes, Garden Club President. It is an honor today to celebrate the loving wife and mother of Arun Wijetilleke, a dear friend, a talented artist, a dedicated Garden Club member. She was a NGC, a Master Accredited Judge, was honored as an FFGC Life member, and awarded the Pillar of Pride. As I stand here, my heart is heavy, but it is also full of gratitude for the privilege of having known her and for the countless memories we shared. My first memory of Arun takes me back over 40 years ago, when I was a student at IRCC taking art classes. It was there I met Arun, the wife of our beloved pediatrician, Dr. Ouija. We lived in the same neighborhood, Colonial Terrace, and what began as a chance meeting blossomed into a beautiful friendship. I'll never forget our field trip to Miami together, a day filled with laughter and new experiences. Arun, with her ever-curious spirit, went through a car wash for the first time on that trip. I can still picture her wide-eyed reaction, a mix of delight and a touch of fear as the brushes swirled around us. That moment captured her so perfectly, open to life's adventures with a heart full of wonder. Our friendship grew through shared adventures, like the time Arun and I attended a flower show judge symposium. Together, driving back to our hotel in the pouring rain, another car sideswiped us, leaving us shaken but unharmed. Afterward, my husband Cody would always chuckle and say, "When you two get together, it's double trouble." That playful phrase became a fond reminder of the spirited bond Arun and I shared, always finding joy, even in the unexpected moments. Over the years, our paths crossed, sometimes in Dr. Ouija's office, where Arun's bright smile greeted everyone. That smile, it was her signature, a kindness that could light up any room. Later, when Mary Graves invited me to join the Rose Circle, there was Arun again, her radiant smile, welcoming me into a new chapter of our friendship. After Arun and her family moved to the beachside, our family followed, and our bond grew stronger. Arun's talents as an artist were undeniable, and she shared them generously with our community. Her stunning landscape of McKee's Lily Pond, donated to the Garden Club, is a testament to her skill and her love for beauty. I still have one of her small, exquisite pieces from our Rose Circle's Make, Bake, and Grow events hanging on my wall at home, a cherished reminder of her creativity and thoughtfulness. Arun's artistry found its fullest expression in the Garden Club's ornament fundraiser, which began in 1992. As the lead designer alongside Nat Jackson as historian, Arun poured her heart into every detail. What started with 1,000 ornaments sold in the first year to 2,500 by 1994, when her meticulous design of the Merle Barber Bridge captured the community's imagination. For 30 years, Arun's dedication shaped this tradition. She carefully chose a feature to highlight, working tirelessly with the manufacturers to ensure every ornament was perfect. Her final design, the Garden Club of Indian River County building in 2021, was a fitting capstone to her legacy, a symbol of her commitment to the community she loved. Arun's artistry wasn't just in her paintings or designs. It was in the way she lived her life. She approached everything with passion, precision, and a deep sense of care. Whether she was creating art, nurturing friendships, or serving our community, Arun left an indelible mark. Her legacy lives on in the beauty she created, the traditions she helped build, and the love she shared with us all. As we say goodbye today, let us carry Arun's bright smile and generous spirit in our hearts. Let us honor her by cherishing the beauty around us, by creating with passion, and by loving one another as she did. Thank you, Arun, for the gift of your life. You will forever be a part of us.
Thank you, Mrs. Estes. I now invite Mrs. Sauder, also from the Garden Club.
Good morning. I would like to share a few words today about my dear friend Arun Wijetilleke, someone whose friendship brought laughter, creativity, and comfort into my life for almost 40 years. When my family moved to Vero Beach, we needed a doctor for our 2 daughters. A neighbor referred me to Dr. Wijetilleke, whom I would affectionately and forever call Dr. Ouija. He was warm, caring, and wonderfully attentive with the children, our 2 daughters. And to this day, my daughters still light up when I say his name. It was only later, through the Garden Club, that I came to know the woman behind the doctor, Arun. Arun was a kind, brilliant, and light-hearted friend. She had this understated, playful humor. She'd say something and you'd laugh, but only a beat later when you realized just how sharp and witty she truly was. We traveled together often for flower shows and symposiums, those multi-day events filled with arranging, observing, and judging floral design and horticulture, and finally the welcome escape to dinner each night. She was a joy to travel with. And though she held a law degree, she never practiced. It didn't do much for her flower arranging, but it did make her a very precise flower show judge. She was not only a well-respected flower show judge across Florida, but she had a designer's eye that could make a masterpiece out of 3 stems and a leaf. That was her gift. She also brought her floral talent to the Vero Beach Museum of Art for the Art in Bloom event, where each floral designer was asked to create an arrangement inspired by a chosen painting, which was then displayed in front of the artwork. Arun loved this event. Her arrangements were precise, imaginative, and often showstoppers. She also dedicated her time serving on the board. She was kind, she was generous. She loved connecting with people. This is why she taught immigrants English at the Mueller Center, and she gave her time and heart freely. She even returned to Sri Lanka to finance the building of houses after a natural tsunami disaster. She had the compassion and vision to help the less fortunate, because that's who she was. And lastly, Arun and I shared something that made us feel connected. We were both women from the British Commonwealth. Arun was born in Sri Lanka, and I was born in St. Vincent. We had many conversations about species of orchids native to the tropics, the delicious varieties of fruit, and the variations of spices used in the making of curry, which was her specialty. Arun was also a devoted mother. She spoke often and affectionately about her children and husband, always with such pride. Though our children did not attend the same schools, I always felt that I knew them, just from how warmly she spoke about them and their activities. Chaminda, Demutu, and Aruni, your mother will be missed by all. If she were here now, I would say, you were a wonderful friend, Arun. I always knew you were just a phone call away. I miss your voice. I miss your humor. I miss you. May you rest in peace. My condolences to the Wijetilleke family and her sister.
Thank you, Mrs. Sauter. I meant to remind folks earlier, if you have your cell phones, if you don't mind, please silencing it. I apologize, I forgot to remind folks earlier. I quote, "A mother is a child's first teacher. Her love shapes the heart. Her wisdom guides the way." We now invite Chaminda, her son, to share his memories and reflections. His words carry not only the voice of a son, but the gratitude of a lifetime shaped by her care, her strength, and her quiet wisdom.
Good morning. I'm not the best public speaker, so just bear with me. But I wanted to start off by thanking, the outpouring of support that I'm realizing is flowing over. Swami Mansi, thank you very much. Viranga, thank you for emceeing. Heidi, thank you so much. We had Heidi and Dr. Rose came by earlier in the week, and she gave a lovely story, and our family that was there was like, yep, we got to get her up here. So thank you, Mrs. Sauter, Mrs. Estes. I've known you guys for a long time, so thank you so much. On behalf of the Wijetilleke family, I want to thank all of those here, and especially all those that traveled from all over Florida, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Colorado, Texas, and of course, Washington, D.C. Also, a good evening to all those connecting virtually in Sri Lanka and Australia. I am Chaminda, the oldest one, or perhaps known to some of you by her other moniker for me, the misbehaved one. There's laughs throughout the globe right now. I want to start off with a profound sense of appreciation. I know I and our immediate family are overwhelmed by the outpouring of love from everyone. Today we celebrate and honor the extraordinary life of my beloved mother, Arundathi Wijetilleke. To the three of us, Mom, or in Sinhalese, Ammi. As we come together, our hearts are heavy with grief, yet filled with gratitude for the profound impact she has had on all of us. Ammi was a woman of grace, strength, and boundless love, a true matriarch who shaped our lives in ways we will carry forever. Born in Sri Lanka, my mother brought with her a heritage rich in tradition and values that she wove into the fabric of our family, and you're seeing and experiencing it real time. She was a woman of quiet, sometimes not so quiet, resilience, someone who faced life's challenges with courage and dignity. Her journey led her to the US, first to New Jersey, where I was born, and then to Vero Beach, Florida, where Demutha and Aruni were born. In Vero, she built a life defined by devotion to her growing family and her newly adopted community. You have heard and will hear of her multiple roles in the community, but as a mother, she was our anchor. My Ammi had this incredible ability to make each of us feel uniquely loved and understood, sometimes better than we understood ourselves. A quick anecdote to reflect that. Among the three of us, I perhaps didn't have quite the initial academic motivation in high school that my siblings had. Many here can attest to that. Post-college, my mom strongly encouraged me to apply to a graduate program that I felt I had no business applying to. She would say a much-repeated motivation of shoot for the moon, land on the stars. I said, Ma, I just want to land. She would prove right in her unwavering confidence, and that helped me to get into that school. My mother had made our home a sanctuary, one that was very much embracing of her Sri Lankan roots, and one of this very special place that will always be a Wijetilleke home, Vero Beach. Ami had a truly radiant smile that I now can see in my sons, and taught us the importance of kindness, community service, and the beauty and art of our surroundings. Her love extended far beyond our family. As a wife, mother, and grandmother, she was the heartbeat of our home. She cherished her children, myself, Demutsu, and Aruni, with a fierce and tender pride. Her grandchildren, Atri and Ashan, were her newest, greatest delight. She'd light up when satisfying their request for her to cook her special shrimp curry. Her love was a constant, steady force that gave all of us strength, and that void is already increasingly felt. To her, family wasn't just a bond, it was a legacy. Once she nurtured with every hug, every story, every moment she shared. As you've heard from Heidi and Mrs. Estes and Mrs. Sauter, Mom was a presence in this community. This is independent of her identity of Dr. Ouiji's wife, or as Mama Ouiji. She had an indelible appreciation for art, something you've heard and will probably hear more about, and brought that passion to Vero, serving on the board of the trustees at the Center for the Arts, now the Museum Art, and Mackey Jungle, as well as a nearly 50-year membership in the Garden Club, which included the Vero-centric Christmas ornaments that she helped design, teaching English at the local college and volunteering at the Gifford Youth Center. As we say goodbye, I take comfort in knowing that Mom's spirit lives on, in the love she gave us, in the lives she touched, and in the values she instilled. Let's honor her by carrying forward her legacy of compassion, resilience, and joy. Hold tight to your memories of her, her smile, her warmth, her unwavering love, and let them inspire you to live as she did with purpose and heart. May you attain the peace of nirvana, or Niwan Sapalaweva, sorry. You are our everything, and your light will shine in us forever. Rest in peace, Ami.
Thank you, Shaminder. I quote, "Just as the moon reflects the light of the sun, a child reflects the love of their parent." We now welcome Arundhathi's son, Dimuthu, who carries forward her spirit in his own way. Through his words, we continue to see the light she shared, gentle, enduring, and full of love.
First of all, I would like to reiterate my thanks, as my brother mentioned, to everyone for the overwhelming support we have received, particularly all of my cousins, their children, our aunts and uncles, the tremendous community of Sri Lankans across the state of Florida, and of course, the beautiful community of the city of Vero Beach. We're so grateful for all of your support. My mother once told her parents when she was a little girl that she wanted to be the next Leonardo da Vinci. That may have sounded ambitious, but when I look back at her life, I realized she was not far off. She was incredibly multi-talented. First, as you've heard, she was a lifelong artist. Her father first recognized her talent at the age of 3 and encouraged her to keep drawing, and that led to her selling her first painting at the age of 11. And then she competed in national art competitions while she was still in high school at St. Bridget's Convent. The nuns there wanted her to go into science, but of course, she charted her own path and she went into the arts. Her preferred art style was Impressionism on oil, on canvas, and she was often compared to Claude Monet. but she also was incredibly versatile and experimented in many other styles. She tried acrylics, watercolor, pastels, sculpture, jewelry making, and even made 2 stained glass windows, and won many awards for her artwork along the way. But art wasn't her only career. She was also a certified interior designer and loved Japanese interior design. She had 3 degrees in college, one in law, specializing in tort law, the other in English, and Pali, which is an ancient Indian language, from the University of London. She was one of the only women to serve on a team of law experts who translated the government of Sri Lanka's law documents from English to Sinhala. She then became an English teacher at her mother's alma mater. And here in Vero Beach, she did a number of things. She had an interest in art history and architecture, and actually co-designed 2 of our homes here. She particularly loved Japanese and Mediterranean architecture, and it was absolutely beautiful what she built into our homes. You've heard about the Garden Club. She was a Master Flower Show judge and won many awards for her amazing flower arrangements. I was particularly fond of her flowerless flower arrangements. Leave it to Mom and her creativity to come up with something like that. But she did, and they were stunning. She found the most colorful leaves and could almost trick you into thinking there were flowers there, but it was all leaves. She was also widely known for the Garden Club Christmas ornaments, as has been mentioned. She did that for 30 years. I have many special memories of the months of work that she would do to make that ornament. It required a unique understanding of both art and engineering, because the design would have to balance when you hung it on a Christmas tree. And she made those ornaments, many of them in 3 dimensions, which made it even more challenging. It was a true labor of love, but the results were pretty amazing, incredible ornaments. But the most important job that she ever did was to be an incredible mother. The family was at the center of her universe, and she did so much for us that came from her heart. She custom made many of our school play and Halloween costumes. Sometimes she would randomly leave a note in our lunch boxes just to put a smile on our face, or she would surprise us with a meal that incorporated artwork. We're having a problem? Okay. Oh, me? Okay. And like making roses out of tomato peels. I always thought that was very creative. And then when each of us graduated from high school, she spent hours working into the night, making unique handmade quilts that each of us would take to college to remind us of home. It was those many acts of love that I now treasure more than ever. One of my favorite memories with Mom were the many debates I had with her. She could debate on a wide variety of subjects, often without any preparation. And she could take apart my arguments with clever precision and wit. When she dealt the decisive blow, she would always qualify it by saying, "But I still love you, darling," and flash her beautiful smile at me. It was only when I was in college, when in exasperation after yet another debate loss, I asked her how she was so good at debating, that she revealed with a cheeky smile that she had been the captain of both her school's English and Sinhala debate teams and led them to national competitions. So I didn't feel so bad after that. That is one of the many moments in my life where she left me in awe of her many talents. It is with that same sense of awe that as a kid that I would watch her paint. It was amazing how she carefully chose the colors and the spots where she put the brush to the canvas. Up close, her paintings just looked like different confusing splotches of color. But when you stepped back, the colors came together and created an amazing image, and then at full perspective, you saw that she had created a masterpiece. I realize now that that is exactly how she lived her life. Every career, every achievement, every moment of her life was a master stroke of a master artist. I now see how the picture of her colorful life all comes together, and I realize that her life itself was truly her greatest masterpiece. As a kid, she said she wanted to be the next Leonardo da Vinci, but the truth is she didn't need to be, because she mastered the art of life. It's hard to describe in words how much she meant to me, but I think one of her own paintings captures it well. It was one she painted a few weeks after her father passed away. It was a painting of a giant hummingbird flying away with its tail feathers lapping against the ocean, seemingly sending waves back to the shore. She was pregnant with me at the time she painted with it, and I've felt connected to it all my life. And I realize now that the hummingbird is a symbol of great energy with an immense presence whose spirit continues to reverberate in those it touched long after it flies away. That is exactly what my mother has meant to me. The hummingbird is flying away, but her energy and presence will always reverberate in my heart. Thank you, Ami, for everything. Thank you for being an incredible mother and for being one of the greatest blessings in my life. May you be at peace, and may you attain enlightenment.
Thank you, Timothy. I quote, "Of all the relationships we are given in this life, the bond between mother and daughter is one of reflection, strength, and deep understanding." We now invite Aruni, her beloved daughter, to speak. In their relationship, there was not only love, but a shared spirit, a deep connection of heart and mind. Through her voice, we hear echoes of her mother's wisdom, her grace, and her enduring presence.
Thank you all for joining us today to honor our mother. We have been wrapped in the incredible community support from friends and family across Vero Beach and the globe. A special note of gratitude to my Wijetilleke family, my aunts, uncle, cousins, nieces, and nephews. Near or far, I continue to be amazed and grateful to have all of your uplifting love through both the celebrations and the tears. And now about our mother, Arundathi Wijetilleke, known to us three as Ami, and whom I am named after, the Morning Star. Our darling Ami put the brightest colors in our life. She painted a beautiful childhood for us with meals decorated with smiling faces and tomatoes shaped to be roses. We bounced around our living room dancing to the Jungle Book record, her favorite Disney movie. She hosted over a decade of Sri Lankan New Year's celebrations at our home with her delicious homemade food, floating lotus candles in the pool, and her talented piano playing of both Western and Sri Lankan dance music, with her sari swaying in the air as everyone orbited around her, dancing and smiling. I will never forget the thoughtful ways you showed love for us through fresh flower arrangements welcoming us home, and sent handwritten cards for holidays and thank yous throughout all these years. We are so grateful for everything you have done and how you loved us. I have now done 3 Buddhist blessings across the world: London, Colombo, and Vero Beach. One within the first 24 hours of hearing the news to surround your spirit with love and merit as soon as possible. With the first 7 days of a Buddhist's passing being a critical time for ceremonial rites, I was determined to honor and send your spirit off with the highest blessings in accordance to our customs. The 7th day culminated with an almsgiving in Sri Lanka, hosted by my dad's 2 sisters, his brother, and niece. I participated on behalf of the Vero Wijetillekes and carried that spotlight picture with me here today. I know you would have been giggling watching your littlest one carrying you on her back and sprinting through the Istanbul airport to make last call for boarding, but you know well that I was fully determined and powered up to make that flight, getting us home as soon as possible to your favorite boys. And you would not be surprised that your little girl added a creative touch to the traditions in honoring you. In Sri Lanka, I released multiple lotuses in the Kelaniya River with loving messages from our whole family. A beautiful island scene of blue skies, palm trees, pink lotuses, and tiny letters of love dotting the river of your hometown. It was a fitting real-life tribute to your artistic style. Ami, I know you did not leave our world. You are now ever present. Now you are painting the sky in twinkling stars and a shining moon above us on the biggest canvas possible. Landing in London last week for my first day of vacation was the first time I did not receive my usual return text from you. I know, though my adventures seemed too many to you, you always wished me the same for the start of each journey, as you did on June 30th. Blessings to you, safe trip, enjoy. I will cherish that last text forever. Miami had a picturesque life, 54 years of a great love story with my darling father, and so many smiles with so much laughter and happiness in her lifetime. For Buddhists, you are now heading to the highest peace possible. So now I wish you, my darling Ammi, blessings to you. Have a safe, eternal trip. Enjoy. I love you, and I will always be smiling back at you, twinkling in the stars.
Thank you, Aruni. I quote, "The heart is noble when it remembers with love." We now take a moment to honor a voice that knew Arundathi most intimately, the one who walked beside her through so many seasons of life. Her husband, Asoka, shared just not years with her, but a life woven with love, memory, and meaning. We invite him to share a few words from his heart.
Well, I don't know whether I could say anything because I think they have all told everything, so I'll try my best to recall something. And I'm going to repeat myself. So Arundathi was born in Colombo, Sri Lanka, and she loved the country. You know, when it came to Sri Lanka, that was it. She and I were delivered by the same obstetrician and in the same hospital. I didn't realize that, only later we got to know that. I want to thank you all for coming today. So nice of you to have come and grace this occasion. I need to thank few people for the care that she got. George Mitchell, I believe George is here, and there was Nancy Cho, and also Heidi, the head nurse in the intensive care unit. Then I have to also thank Mallika Gunasekara, Geeta Selvendran, and Gauri Sugatapada. These were people who helped us a lot. She loved traveling, and basically we had counted 51 countries that we had gone to, and she made that list. So that's the number of countries that she visited to. And in med school, going back to med school when we were students, my friend Ranjit is here, we used to have a concert, but the problem, it was a dinner dance, but the problem was dancing because we didn't know how to dance. So we thought we should go for dancing classes. So we did go for dancing classes. Ranjit was there and my good friend Narmi. And that's where I met her. She came and she was taking classes and then we met. But I was a medical student. I was not good enough, so I had to be a doctor to get her. So basically, that's how we, developed, and she was there. She was crazy about Meki jungle there. She was heavily involved, and that's where she served, and she was great with everything she did there. So just to finalize, she will always be my heart forever, and I'm going to miss you, Arun.
Thank you, Lokumama. We would now like to open the floor if anybody would like to come up and share any thoughts and stories. This is your moment. This is celebration of life of Arundathi Wijetilleke. So the floor is open for anybody who would like to come speak.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Doug Ames, and my parents were Dr. Donald and Mary Ames. And I can remember when Ouija and his wife and family came to Vero Beach. And my mother took Arun under her wing. My mother was the president of the Rose Circle, and my dad took Ouija under his wing. And my brother Philip taught water skiing at St. Edward's and Raremark Camp, and boom, boom, boom. And I can always remember coming home from college, and my parents always had such nice things to say about your family. And my thoughts are with everybody, and Arun especially. But I will always remember her with her garden club and how special she was to all the members and Ouija and the community. I know at times, when we moved here to Vero Beach, my dad was the 17th doctor in Vero Beach. And there really wasn't an emergency room doctor, and the ambulance would literally call our house and say, "Where's your dad?" And then afterwards, we would always get calls from people saying, "We just moved to town, we need a pediatrician. Who should we go to?" So their family has always been a part of ours, and our thoughts are always with Arun. I just wanted to share those nice comments with everybody.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else would like to say a few words? Well, before we conclude, I'd like to share a few moments to reflect on Lokunanda, which is Aunt Arun for me. As students who came to this wonderful country, my siblings and I faced our share of challenges over the years. Throughout that journey, Lokunanda and Lokumama, Uncle Asoka, that's Uncle Asoka, were there for us. Their kindness, generosity, and steady support made a lasting difference in our lives. Lokunanda, that's Arundathi, in particular was a gentle and comforting voice I could always count on. We shared many memorable conversations, some deep, some playful, and always thoughtful. It may come as no surprise, as Dimuthu said, she was the president of her high school debate club, St. Bridget's Convent in Sri Lanka. Interestingly, decades later, I too became the president of the debate club at Ananda College, the best college in Sri Lanka. Which, by the way, is the same school that Asoka, Harish, attended as well in Sri Lanka. So it's through those conversations that I remember her most vividly. Sometimes we agreed, and sometimes, well, we lovingly agreed to disagree. Before I finish, I would like to share something that might bring a smile to your faces. A short story. One day I brought flowers home for my wife Rasika on her birthday. Feeling inspired, I decided to try my hand at arranging them. Cutting the stems under the water and taking my time with the design. Lokunanda Arundathi always said, you have to cut the stems under the water, right? with kind of gentle authority only she could deliver. Proud of my work, I snapped a photo of the arrangement and sent it to her, hoping for a grand stamp of approval. Her reply, "That's interesting, Puta." Puta means son. I knew right then it was her gracious way of saying, "Nice try, but maybe don't quit your day job as an engineer." That was her honest, loving, and always kind nature. Lokunanda, I love you. Thank you for everything you gave us. May you attain Nibbana. Okay, as we say farewell, let us remember that her life, like a painting or a garden, was full of color, care, and quiet wisdom. In her presence, many of us found calm insight and inspiration. In the Buddhist tradition, we understand that life flows on beyond what we can see. And so we let go with gratitude, honoring the love and the lessons she leaves with us. May we continue to see her in art, in nature, in our quiet moments, and in the ways we show kindness to others. Thank you, Arundathi Wijetilleke, for the beauty you brought to this world. I once again would like to quote the Dhammapada as I described earlier, one last time. Like a beautiful flower, full of color, but without fragrance, are the fair but fruitless words of one who does not act accordingly. But like a beautiful flower full of color and fragrance, and the wise words of one who acts accordingly. In Arundathi, we saw a life that was beautiful and fragrant, not just in words, but in the way she lived, her kindness, her creativity, her thoughtful presence, all were in harmony. She didn't just speak of compassion and mindfulness, she lived it. Like a flower in full bloom, her actions left a lasting scent in the lives of those around her, and that gentle fragrance will remain with us even now. And so, as we hold that image of her, a flower of full in bloom, graceful in both word and action, we take a quiet moment to reflect on what she gave us, the lessons she taught, not through instruction, but through example, the love she showed, not with grand gesture, but through presence, attention, and care. In her memory, let us turn inward for a moment of stillness, whether in silent prayer, quiet thought, a simple gratitude for the time we were given with her. I would all invite you to stand and take a moment, and let's offer a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. As we come to the close of today's ceremony, we thank each of you for being here, not only to honor Arundhathi's life, but to support the family with your presence, your memories, and your love. Though we now part from this formal space of remembrance, our connection to her and to one another continues. You're kindly invited to join the family for light refreshments at the venue next door. This will be the time to share stories, connect, and continue celebrating the life of someone who touched us all. Thank you again for being part of this day.
If you would all just give us a moment to take the family next door and get them seated, we would appreciate it. You can come straight through these doors and go across the parking lot to the plaza. That's the first double doors. You'll meet in that building. The caterer's getting set up, so we're gonna have to give him a little bit of time, but we've got plenty of room over there, okay?